LIV Golf wrapped up its inaugural season for men's golf in October this year, and it's safe to say that it was a hit. Now, rumors have been going around that the circuit is interested in a women's league. Although a Saudi-backed women's golf league may look incongruent, it's still possible. Without further ado, let's talk in detail about what this possible venture from Greg Norman's circuit could lead to. Starting off, is there a LIV women's league really happening? Yes, it looks like LIV Golf is coming for women's golf. LIV CEO Greg Norman has confirmed in a recent interview that his circuit definitely has intentions to extend their investment to a women's game. In fact, he stated that the matter has already been discussed internally, so the opportunity is there. Now, you might be wondering how this venture is going to affect the LPGA Tour. Perhaps it won't get as ugly as the circuit's disruption with the PGA Tour. That's because the LPGA's commissioner, Molly Marcoux Samaan, is ready to take a different and smarter approach. Unlike her tour counterpart, Jay Monahan, he isn't even ready to meet the LIV CEO, as he's chosen to operate on arrogance. Well, we know how that backfired. She also discussed the matter in an interview with the London Times, where she didn't shy away from the likeliness of discussing things with Greg about a possible LIV women's golf league. She stated that it's her responsibility to evaluate every opportunity for the improvement of the women's game. Therefore, she'd be happy to engage in a conversation with the aim of promoting women's golf. After getting rebuffed by the PGA administration, LIV has announced that it's going to invest $300 million in the Asia Tour over the next decade. So, if the LPGA administration agrees to partner with the new league, there's no doubt they can expect a similar investment, which would be a huge step for women's golf. Up next, let's find out more about the matter. Recently, it was reported on a podcast hosted by the Fire Pit Collective that the LIV circuit already has plans for several women's-only events to be held next year, including a mixed team event. What's more, the Aramco Team Series is one of the biggest tournaments hosted by the LPGA. It's actually a collection of team-based events on the Ladies European Tour and attracts the best players in the world. Lexi Thompson and the Korda sisters all participated last year. If you didn't know, Aramco is actually a natural gas and petroleum gas company based in Saudi Arabia, and it's one of the biggest companies by revenue. In fact, Golf Saudi has been sponsoring 6 ladies European events, including the Aramco Team Series, which offers $6 million in a prize purse, about 4 times more than usual. Obviously, the money is coming from the investment fund of Saudi Arabia, as it does for the LIV League. Besides this, Golf Saudi and Aramco also fund multiple events on the LPGA Tour. So if LPGA and LIV agree to join forces, there's no doubt that it will garner huge attention and rewards for both leagues, which will definitely be beneficial for the players. What's interesting, 2-time major champion Christy Kerr claimed in an interview that everyone would happily leave the tour if they had to make the choice between LIV and LPGA. After all, the huge money being offered would be hard to turn down. There's no doubt that the prize purses for women's events have increased over the past decade. In 2010, the total prize fund was around $41 million for 33 events. It's been doubled during the 2022 season. Still, they're nothing compared to what their male counterparts are being offered. Coming up, could a LIV and LPGA arrangement be beneficial for women's golf? The Saudi Public Investment Fund and its unlimited cash reserves have been the ultimate source of controversy ever since they began investing in international sporting events. And it's not hard to wonder why. That's because they've got an appalling history of human rights records, which has been extensively documented. Besides this, they've been accused of sports washing through golf. So it doesn't come as a surprise that many golfers associated with the LIV circuit have defended their choice, with the 2010 US Open champion Graham McDowell saying that they're just professional golfers and not politicians, and he believes that if Saudi Arabia is using them to go where they'd want, he's more than happy to help them in that journey. What's even more surprising is that more and more fans, especially female golf fans, have started to see the potential in an LIV Women's League. At the AIG Women's Cup, one fan said that it's only about time that women start to get paid as much as men for the game, and they think that LIV could be the only way of achieving this. Another fan also suggested that LIV Golf would be perfect with respect to the 54-hole nature and team aspect, with the possibility of mixed events sounding even more exciting. In addition, there's also the possibility of foursome matches in these team formats. Just Just imagine the impact that it would have on the reputation of women's golf if they were the ones to break gender barriers in Saudi Arabia. Last but not least, a LIV Women League would open a whole new world of opportunities. Given what we know about Saudi Arabia, an open arms welcome for a women-based golf league might seem unlikely, but it's not impossible. After all, we've already talked about the success of the Aramco Team Series. Interestingly, LPGA has shown a willingness to talk, with Greg Norman saying that an LIV Women's League is pretty much in the works. Although we don't know what such a series might look like, it's still intriguing to think about the mixed team format and the large prize money that'll undoubtedly benefit the women's game by putting female golfers in the spotlight for breaking the Saudi norms. Or at least, it could raise some uncomfortable questions for the Saudi Public Investment Fund about how women's golf is faring in the country. No matter what, LIV Golf's very existence has been heavily influencing the women's game. Besides this, there's also been great support from the traditionalists to protect the game. This has encouraged more golf courses that have historically been wary of women playing golf to abandon many of these outdated practices. Bigger TV deals and larger prize purses have become a prominent feature of women's golf. It's not a coincidence that the prize funds of all the major 5 championships in women's golf have increased this year, with KPMG Women's PGA Championship and US Women's Open doubling the money. In any case, whether it's with LIV or not, there's no denying that the women's game is in the right position to benefit from the current turbulence in the golfing scene. Now, the LIV Women's League would be hard for the LPGA players to turn down. Starting off, LPGA golfers have started to discuss the possibilities of a women's LIV league. With billions of dollars invested in the startup, $20 million in the prize funds, and $4 million in winners' checks, the Saudi Public Investment Fund has shown that they'd spare nothing to turn the controversial LIV Golf Series into a huge success. Now, the focus has shifted to the possibility of a women's LIV league to see if a country which continues to discriminate against women is ready to spend life-changing money for them. As we've discussed, Greg Norman has already shown his willingness regarding such a series, and his comments have caught the attention of LPGA golfers, who are already sending out warning signs to the tour. Spanish player Carlota Saganda said at the CME Group Tour Championship that a lot of female players would be ready to switch sides as it can make a huge difference in the long run. After all, only a fool would say no to the opportunity of winning $5 million in a single event. She further added that she duly understands the criticism, as everyone can have a political viewpoint, but at the same time, it's their job and anyone would be ready to take on an opportunity with such rewards. Moving on, more and more players have hinted at leaving the LPGA. Madeline Sagstrom, who is a 6-year veteran golfer from Sweden, has talked about the disruption in the PGA Tour with the emergence of the LIV Invitational Series. She's not sure that the LPGA Tour could easily survive such a huge conflict. She thinks that the tour's administration will have to play smarter here and handle the situation differently, as the case here is a little bit more vulnerable. Still, there are some players who are skeptical about such a situation. Carrie Webb is a 7-time major winner. She recently said in an interview that she fears a LIV Women's League might end up ruining the game for women. She added that she grew up idolizing Greg Norman, but now she feels disappointed in her childhood hero. Although LPGA Commissioner Molly Marcoux Samaan is ready to talk to the LIV circuit, she believes that a lot of factors need to be considered before starting a business with the new league. Last but not the least, the benefits are hard to be ignored. LIV Invitational Series concluded its first season by distributing more than $255 million in prize money just for their 8 events this year. What's amazing is the fact that they're going to increase the amount to $405 million for their first 14 events next year. If you compare this with the PGA Tour, their total prize purse for the 2022-23 season is around $428 million, but that's for a total of 47 events. And for the LPGA Tour, they approached with just $90 million for their 34 tournaments this year. Considering these figures, world number 15, Charlie Hall of England, has said that most of her peers would be ready to accept any offer from the LIV League if it includes those life-changing paychecks. She believes that if the new league did approach with something, you'd be made not to take a look and consider the opportunity. As for Lexi Thompson, her relationship with Donald Trump would serve as a huge factor in her decision about the LIV League. She's been a long-time member at Trump International and even had the opportunity of playing with the president, who has aligned himself partnerships with LIV. In fact, 3 events from the next year's schedule will be held at his properties. That's a wrap for the video. Do you think a LIV Women's League is possible? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more amazing and exciting videos like this. See you at the next one.